It was a remarkable day at the NFL playoffs. In the opening game in the AFC, the Jets go into Cleveland. They force the Browns into 2 overtimes before Cleveland prevails 23-20. Then Washington, beaten up in a short work week, comes in here and eliminates the Super Bowl champion Chicago Bears 27-13. What's in store tomorrow? We'll find out at noon. When we'll be on air, it'll be San Francisco against the New York Giants. So for all of us here at Soldier Field, I'm Brent Musburger. We hope you've enjoyed the NFL Today on CBS.
Good evening and welcome as our Channel 2 coverage of the Chicago Bears continues. We're going to be going to Johnny Morris live down in the Bear locker room shortly. John Drummond is outside Soldier Field. He'll have a report with the Bear fans who obviously are not too happy tonight as the Washington Redskins pulled an upset by a score of 27-13. So next week it'll be the Redskins against the winner of tomorrow's 49ers and Giants game. Let's go down to Johnny, who is live right now with the defensive coordinator of the Washington Redskins, Richie Pettibone. Johnny?
Okay, thank you, Howard. As everybody knows by now, the Washington Redskins upset the Bears 27-13. The Bears are still in the locker room. Obviously, they're not feeling very good, but a man who is feeling good is former Bear, Richie Pettibone. And Richie, let me congratulate you. It was a great victory.
Well, thank you, John. I think it was a total team effort. I know you've heard that a lot, but you know, our guys were sick all week, and I tell you, it was an amazing football game for us.
You shut down the Bears offense. What was your game plan going in?
Well, we thought that we wanted to, you know, if we could stop their running game. We thought that, you know, with Flutie's inexperience, and I think the kid's a great athlete, and I think he's going to be okay, but he was in a tough spot, you know, with only two games experience. You know, we thought we'd try and give him some different looks, and we used a little 3-man line, a little 5-man line, with the idea to contain him. We didn't think he was going to be able to beat us if we made him throw out of the pocket. And sometimes things work, and today was one of those days.
Yeah, that's got to be very satisfying for you because you devise a game plan and have it come out like you wanted it to.
It works about once every 20 times.
Well, it worked today, and of course, you had a pretty good quarterback, Schrader. One thing that teams have not been able to do against the Chicago Bears, once they get ahead, the Bears were up 13-7 at the half. Usually that defense shuts down the offense, but the Washington offense actually just moved the ball at will in the second half.
Well, the thing that concerned us coming in, you know, we had some offensive linemen that were beat up, and we didn't know whether we were going to be able to protect, but the guys came through pretty well, and they, you know, for the most part, I thought it looked like the protection was good. And I tell you what, Schrader's going to be a heck of a quarterback.
Yeah, he certainly is. Did you see Mike Ditka after the game there?
No, you know.
Give him a little wave. You'll probably see him a little bit later, huh?
Mike's got a great football team. It was just one of those days, you know, but there's nothing wrong with the Chicago Bears.
Okay, Richie, congratulations, and thanks a lot, and I'll let you go celebrate,
John.
okay? Richie Pettibone. And, of course, I'm going to throw it back to Howard now. Howard, you can do some highlights, and we'll try and get some Chicago Bears in here. They're not feeling too hot right now.
All right, Johnny. Obviously, they aren't. After this stunning loss tonight, let's take a look at the highlights of the game. And the game really started with a bang as Dennis Gentry came out of the starting gate. He was ready to go after 2 weeks off. Just about broke this opening kickoff. He got 61 yards before he was knocked down, but the drive didn't go anywhere. Washington took an early lead in the game. The Bears were blitzing, but Jay Schrader got rid of the ball. Art Monk scored the touchdown, 7-0. But Doug Flutie had an answer to that one. He had his moments today. Watch him. A quick pump right there. That might have faked him out a little bit, and Willie Galt was wide open. He beat Darrell Green all the way. That had to be sweet to Willie. Spikes the ball as it was tied 7-7. The Bear defense was tough. George Rogers has the ball here. He was popped first by Otis, and then Wilbur Marshall took him down right there. Then the defense came up with another big play as Jay Schrader was a little bit rattled in the second quarter today. He's intercepted right there by Mike Richardson. He makes a good return, just about got into the end zone. He got to about the 4-yard line right there, 42-yard return, but the Bears could not get the touchdown. Walter Payton, the third down run. Dexter Manley of the Skins with the stop right there on third down. So it was left for Kevin Butler, and he was good on this one. The Bears took a 10-7 lead. He hit another one before half. It was 13-7 Bears at halftime, and the only thing that could beat the Bears with that 6-point lead then was mistakes, and they came. Doug Flutie back to pass. He threw it. He had to scramble a little bit there. He had plenty of time, though, and then there was Darrell Green to make the interception, and he made a good return. He got up and got the ball down to about the 25-yard line, and shortly after that, the Bears blitzed again. They gambled a little bit, and again, Washington beat it. Art Monk beat Mike Richardson 14-13. The Skins take the lead for good. But right after that, it looked like the Bears might get into the game. Dennis Gentry brings Soldier Field to life. Look at this guy go. A great return to the 42, 48 yards for Dennis Gentry, but another turnover would stop the Bears. As the drive continued inside the 20, Walter Payton is popped, the ball came loose, and Washington came up with it, and they would drive from there. And as they drove, a questionable penalty on this play, as the Skins are back to pass, and Mike Richardson was called for pass interference on Art Monk. The flag was thrown right there, a very close call. And from there, they had the ball at the 1, and George Rogers bowled in. It was 21-13, Washington on top at that point. And then it would go from bad to worse for the Chicago Bears. Steve Cox back to punt for the Skins. He hits it to Lou Barnes. Lou takes it, fields the ground ball, but he never really got a hold of it there. It was loose. Monty Coleman scooped it up and went into the end zone. It was ruled no touchdown. You cannot advance a muffed ball, but it led to a field goal. And the game ended with Washington winning it by a score of 27-13 at Soldier Field. So as I said, they will go on now, the Washington Redskins, against the winner of the Giants-49ers game, which is tomorrow. We'll take a break right now. We'll be back with more on Bears Locker Room right after this. All right, welcome back to our Bears Locker Room show. As you know, the Bears have been knocked out of the playoffs by the Redskins, 27-13. We'll go down to Soldier Field right now. John Drummond is live outside of Soldier Field with some of the fans who aren't too happy at this point, John.
This place looked like the deck of the Titanic about the middle of the fourth quarter as these fans began exiting Soldier Field. And then, of course, the straw that broke the camel's back when Lou Barnes fumbled down near the goal line, and then the sky literally around us, or I should say the fans around us erupted. You could hear, I thought I was on the forecastle of a tramp steamer, the way the oaths and curses went up. Now, we're going to try to talk to some of these fans, and if they get unruly, we go back to you. Listen, knock it off here. All right. All right, hold it back here. Now, we want to talk to some of these fans. All right, Buck, what do you got to say?
Wait. Next year, Bears. Bears are #1 next year.
All right, let's either be orderly here or call this off, one or the other. Now, what are you, this man's got to give me...
How about getting rid of Doug Flutie and bringing Jim McMahon back in and do a left-handed...
we need
All right, let's get left-hand quarterback.
All right, let's push it back.
What do you want to know?
All right, Howard, as you can see, fans are getting a little disorderly. They get unhappy with what happened today, and we wanted to have some interviews. I think that we're going to have to throw it back to you because these people do not want to conduct themselves as gentlemen. All right, back there.
All right, John, thanks a lot. I would get out of there. It looks kind of dangerous out there right now. John Drummond down outside Soldier Field. Earlier today, the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets had a long and wild game, and I do mean long, in Cleveland Stadium. It went 2 overtimes before the Browns won it by a score of 23-20. Now, the Jets took the lead of this game with a trick play. The flea flicker from Pat Ryan to Freeman McNeil, back to Ryan, and then watch Ryan, the quarterback, fire it down the field to Wesley Walker, 42 yards, and it's 7-0, the Jets on top in the first quarter. But Bernie Kosar brought the Browns back. He threw 64 passes in this game today. That is a playoff record. This is to Herman Fontenot for a touchdown, and it was 7-7. It was 13-10 then late in the game. The New York Jets had the lead, and the Jets went up by 10 as Freeman McNeil gets to the outside here. Watch him stay on his feet there, keeps his balance, 25 yards to score. It was 20-10, but the Browns made an unbelievable comeback with less than 2 minutes to go. Kevin Mack scores, and it's a 20-17 game. The clock's still against Cleveland, though, but they got the ball back. They forced the Jets to punt. Bernie Kosar threw it to Webster Slaughter, and it's complete to about the 5-yard line. And a Mark Mosley field goal sent it to overtime at 20-20. In overtime, the Browns had a shot to win it. Mosley from close range, he misses it to the right, so the Jets were still alive. But into the second overtime, Mark Mosley would get another chance, and he would make good this time. As the Cleveland Browns beat the Jets by a score of 23-20, the Browns will host the AFC Championship game next Sunday. That'll be against either New England or the Denver Broncos. They play tomorrow. We'll take a break on Bears Locker Room. We'll be back with more right after this. And welcome back to our Bears Locker Room show. Let's go right down to Soldier Field now. Johnny Morris is standing by with the coach, Mike Ditka. Johnny?
Okay, thank you, Howard. Mike, it was a long day. What are your thoughts right now?
Well, it's disappointing, John. You know, I really was very optimistic about this team and about repeating I really thought we had the makeup to do it, and I still do. I just think that, you know, we had opportunities today that we didn't capitalize on, and we preached about turnovers, yet we made some key turnovers that hurt us. We preached about penalties, yet we made some stupid penalties that hurt us. So, you know, those are things that we don't coach and we don't condone, but they happen, you know. We can't wish them away. We have to find a way to get rid of them and change it. But it's, you know, I think, John, the worst thing we could do is overlook what the team accomplished. And I think, you know, as I said, the assistant coaches have done an outstanding job, and the players have really played well. And I don't think that can diminish the year we've had. Sure, we all like to win the championship. That's what it's all about. But there'll be another year. There'll be more championships for Chicago.
I think you could probably lump it into 3 or 4 reasons. When all is said and done, I think the quarterback situation, the injury to McMahon, and the turmoil in the quarterbacks and having to play one or another ended up biting you, didn't it?
It might have hurt us a little bit, but I'll say one thing. We may have lost the battle today with that kid, but we are not going to lose the war with him. He'll be back strong, and he'll compete for the starting job next year, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. Of course, we hope Jim heals, and Mike will be back, and Steve, and we'll see what happens. But I really believe it's going to be a good competitive situation for the football team, and I think we got a little work to do. We got to tighten up the bootstraps a little bit on offense, because the alarming rate that we turned the football over this year, it's a wonder we won 14 games.
It was a trend. Sometimes a trend develops. You can never stop it. Let's take a look at the Skins. Now, their defensive game plan, their offensive game plan worked. Now, you started blitzing here, and Schrader picked it up, and he got the one-on-one coverage, and just beat the
but this should have never happened. I mean, the worst thing can happen there if we back off the guy and they can't beat us there. I mean, my goodness, the guy didn't have time to breathe. I mean, it's just a matter, you can't get any clearer than that. I mean, it's a great job by Schrader, I agree, but there's no way that we don't get a bump on those guys. They should be open. I mean, they should be chucked. That's a poor job by the defensive backs in that situation.
Okay, this was another time when you blitzed and he ran away from the blitz, and of course, Richardson really bit on the out and up, which is a no-no.
Well, it happened to Mike twice, and, you know, Mike's trying to make a play. I understand that, but that there'll kill you. I mean, that'll put you in the grave quicker than anything, but my goodness, you know, he's just trying to do what he thinks he has to do out there, and he bit on the play, and it didn't work.
They're getting back to the schedule. Do you think now, I'll ask you in retrospect, the fact that you only played 1 out of the 10 teams that are in the playoffs, do you think that ended up hurting you, not playing tough?
No, I think we would have won the game today if we wouldn't have turned it over. I mean, if we wouldn't turn it over and had some penalties at the wrong time, I think we would have played a lot better. We didn't capitalize on the interception Mike had. We didn't capitalize on the kickoff returns. Those are bad things not to capitalize on. We had the ball in great field position a couple of times. And
also, you didn't capitalize on Willie Gault. We're going to take a look at his touchdown pass, but they didn't throw to him much, you know, after that.
Well, we threw it over 4 or 5 times, but we had the play set up to go with a takeoff to him, and we knew what we wanted to do, John. And we're not going to sit there and just throw the ball to one guy every time, but we probably could have got it to him a few more times. He was open, certainly.
Yeah, Gerald Green, he bit on the hitch and go, and you're going to see it on the replay. He just really came for it, and then Flutie did a good job on this because he gave the old the double pump. First, we're going to see what Colbert did to Dexter Manley. He got a key block there so that he can disturb the passing lane, and then here's where you see where Gault, watch this move. You probably saw it from the side.
Well, I knew what was going to happen. We knew exactly what would happen. As a matter of fact, I thought the only thing that would happen when he ran the route, I thought Green would probably grab him because, you know, and be interference or holding or whatever you call it. But it was one good play. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough of them, and.
Well, their game plan was to stop Peyton. Obviously, they used some 5-man lines and 3-man line. They did, you know, shut down the run and to force Flutie to pass.
But we ran the ball outside pretty good. You know, we ran the ball outside. There was nothing the matter with some of the runs we made outside. But my goodness, we drive the ball down to their 12-yard line, and we got a holding play on by the wing, who's all he's got to do is stand in front of the guy, and he makes a mistake and he holds him. I mean, John, it's silly. I don't know if it was holding. I haven't seen the film, but that's what they called. But, yeah, we're going to bounce back. I mean, I apologize to the people of Chicago.
You don't have to apologize. You won 32 out of your last 36 games.
That's not the point. I mean, I think we ought to win them all. I'll never change. You know, as long as I'm doing this for a living, I won't change. But
was your team ready emotionally?
I thought we were almost too ready.
But when they were out on the field, did they?
Well, you know what takes emotion out of a team? When the other team executes, John. That takes emotion away from you, and they executed a little better than we did.
I think the key was you were up 13-7. Every time you guys get up, you've always been able to shut people down. They've moved the ball in the second half.
Exactly. That was part of it. They made a couple plays, but we had to score more than 13 to win. We knew that.
What's the biggest thing you got to do before next year?
Well, I think what I'd like to do now is talk to the players and go back to a couple priorities I think that we kind of got away from.
You're talking about the off-field things?
Strength. I mean, getting back our strength, weightlifting, off-season conditioning, getting people in the best shape we can get in to play the football game physically and mentally.
What about the off? Now that you look back, the off-season, the commercials, the speeches.
I don't think that. No, I don't think that had anything to do with it, John. I just think that we just got to go back to the weights and get tough and get strong, and we're going to go back and analyze some things we did offensively and personnel also. We'll evaluate all our personnel in the next 2 weeks, and we'll just know a little bit more about what we want to do in the draft.
Okay, thanks for stopping by. I know you want to go talk to the team. Still a good season, 14-2.
I've been standing here 2 years ago. Remember, I came and told you how wonderful.
Edward Bennett Williams congratulating Mike Ditka as the Washington Redskins are very happy. They have won this game 27-13. Howard, let's go back to you, and we'll see if we can have another interview for you in a moment.
All right, Johnny, we'll stand by here for a second. We got a couple minutes left in the show. I want to give you the schedule for tomorrow's football games. The first one is the AFC game with New England at Denver. And the winner of that game will play the Cleveland Browns, who beat the Jets today in overtime, 2 overtimes actually, by a score of 23-20. The Channel 2 game then is the NFC game. It'll be the 49ers in New York against the Giants, and you got to believe that both those teams are happy by what happened today by getting the Chicago Bears out of the way. The Giants the favorite in the game tomorrow, and you got to really love what Mike Ditka had to say down there. Obviously, it's not necessary for him to apologize to the city of Chicago after what he's done. The team went 14-2 this year with all of this adversity and the quarterback situation, and he probably did the best thing he did by bringing Doug Flutie along and getting him in the game. Flutie played pretty well today, but made the key mistake in the second half when he threw the interceptions to Darrell Green, and that's really where they got into problems with the turnovers in the second half. Johnny's standing by down at Soldier Field, and I guess has another guest ready to go. Johnny? Or
no.
Do you?
I don't yet, Howard. I'm hoping for one to come in, but they're still it's very quiet in the Bears locker room. They're not saying too much. Obviously, we have some guys that are a little bit disappointed. They felt that they would be able to go on and win this game and then go on, of course, and win another Super Bowl. But I think when it all comes down to the final thoughts about it, let me give you a couple of final thoughts, because it doesn't look like we're going to get anybody else here to talk. I think I have the feeling that the schedule situation for the Chicago Bears was an easy schedule. It's been one of the main contentions I've had, that they've played not playoff contending teams throughout the season. I think when you get into a team like this, that where you have turnovers, this is the kind of team that could take advantage of them. I still thought the Bears would win because the Bears, I feel, had the best team. We're going to have Mike Singletary. Come on over here, Mike. Mike Singletary. We have only 1 minute left on this brief post-game show, but Mike, I just wanted to get your thoughts. I'll hold the mic for you. We haven't got much time. Sit down and have a seat here. I know you have to be one of the more disappointed of the Chicago Bears because you always give it your all.
Well, it's a bad taste to end on, and it's unfortunate for our team, both defensive, offensively. I just feel that we could have done so much better today.
Why were they able to move the ball so well on you in the second half?
I think, they came out and they really executed well, and they caught us in some good defenses as far as they're concerned to run the plays that they were running, and we didn't really execute the way we were capable of executing.
This was a case where the offense, they picked up blitzes, they did various things, took advantage of what you're trying to do, and usually you put the offense on the defense.
Well, the biggest thing today, I think we were playing against an offensive, a very experienced offensive line. They play very well together, and they pick up blitzes, and they do a good job.
Okay, Mike, I'm sorry. We're all out of time. We're down to 4 seconds. You still had a great year. There's always next year. Okay, that's it, Howard. Let's go back to you.
All right, that's it on the Bears locker room. We'll have news at 10 and Bears Extra at 10:30. Have a good night.